At the time I'm recording this video, I'm 52 years old. If I could go back and talk to my 30-year-old self and give some advice on how to thrive during the journey to menopause, instead of thinking that I was dying or going crazy, here's exactly what I would say. Lesson number 1. Just after my 46th birthday, I noticed some strange and unpleasant changes in my mind and my body, and I went to the hospital practically every week. I saw many doctors, but no one could tell me what was wrong with me. This continued until a friend who was also suffering from some strange changes and who had also been confused mentioned the word menopause. I searched the internet and voila, I found out that I was perimenopausal. I then studied to become a certified menopause well-being practitioner so I could help myself and other women. I learned the hard way that doctors don't know anything about menopause. Lesson number 1, do your own research about menopause. I hate to break this to you, darlings, but unfortunately, nobody's coming to help you. Lesson number 2, in my early 30s, I thought menopause was just about experiencing hot flashes, and even then, I had no idea what a hot flash was. Then on one sunny afternoon, I found myself suddenly feeling really hot. I was sweating profusely at a wedding reception while everyone else was comfortable. And the thing is, I never sweat. So I felt so embarrassed and so confused. Later, it occurred to me that I might just have had a hot flash. It was an eye-opener, but even then it was merely a glimpse into the hormonal craziness that I would eventually face. Menopause is so much more than hot flashes. You should ask me and I should know. Lesson number 2, educate yourself on the 80 menopausal symptoms, and I have a link to 70 of these symptoms in the description of this video, which you can download. Knowledge is power. Lesson number 3, I found that I became highly irritable and extremely confrontational with my husband. Any little thing and I would fly off the handle. The smooth, easy communication we once had was on its way out, and I didn't know how long this would go on for, but I knew the impact would be grave. I mean, what's marriage without communication? After observing what was happening in the marriages of people around me and from research, it became quite obvious that many midlife women were going through divorces all over the world. So I put 2 and 2 together and found out that my perimenopausal symptoms were trying to put my husband and I asunder. So we sat down several times and I expressed, what I was feeling and my frustrations with all the changes. And that was the end of all that friction. Fast forward till today, I'm still happily married and loving it. Lesson number 3 is keep talking to each other about everything to ensure your marriage doesn't hit the rocks. Lesson number 4. I used to work as an executive in a job that has a low tolerance for error, and it kept me on my tippy toes. I loved it. I used to be so intelligent, astute and hardworking, and I could ride every wave that could come my way. But all of a sudden, I became so confused. I was forgetful. I couldn't read and understand one paragraph. I would read it over and over again. I couldn't get organized. I couldn't deal with simple tasks. I came so close to resigning without any notice. And that is even notice to myself. I realized I was experiencing brain fog or executive dysfunction. I eventually changed jobs to something which wouldn't keep me up till late at night and which at the same time was easier on my nerves. Lesson number 4 is plan your career ahead such that you will be ready to retire earlier or take time off work or transition to something that you would love to do. You do you. Don't be like me, because I definitely wasn't prepared at the time. Just plan it. Lesson number 5. After my certification as a menopause specialist, I knew that estrogen was as important to a woman as fuel is to a car. But I was still initially terrified of the word hormone replacement therapy. I thought it could maybe do me more harm than good. But then after weighing the risks and benefits, I discovered that it could drastically alleviate my symptoms. And so I decided I would give it a try. But then I searched high and I searched low, and I couldn't find HRT for sale in Nigeria, which is where I live. So I made do with lifestyle adjustments, which at the end of the day worked out just fine. Lesson number 5 is that HRT is an option. If you live in a country where HRT is available or you have access to it, discuss HRT with your menopause specialist. Thousands of women are testifying that it's made their transition much smoother. Lesson number 6. Nobody understood me and what I was going through. I felt I was the only person living in this nightmare. Then I decided to bring up what I was going through with a few close friends. To my relief, they had similar experiences and we bonded over shared struggles. I was also able to let go of some really toxic relationships which were affecting my mental health in ways that I never knew were possible. Lesson number 6. Friends are key. But just know that you might need to lose some and then forge closer relationships with others. Lesson number 7. Around the time my journey to menopause started, which is what we call perimenopause, which actually means around menopause, I noticed that I wasn't happy about anything. I mean, how does the happiest girl in the world become the saddest girl ever? Nothing sparked joy. Even the things that used to excite me, my response to everything was literally like, whatever. Then a friend noticed that I was unhappy and she encouraged me to find my purpose and my passion. So I started this YouTube channel, and the joy that I've experienced on YouTube from helping thousands of women has helped me get through anxiety, depression, and about 60 more crazy perimenopausal symptoms. Lesson number 7 is find your purpose and your passion. It's likely to be something that you've always loved doing or something that you've always wanted to do but never got the opportunity to. But most importantly, you could do it in a way that meets the need of others, and that passion and that joy you feel from it will help you rise above the challenging symptoms. Lesson number 8. Anxiety hit me so hard. I thought it was just stress, but I was so afraid of everything. Afraid that situations were getting out of control. When I got to the point, that just driving around the corner filled me with terror because I was so sure that we were about to have an accident. I knew I had to get help. After talking to a therapist, I realized that it was hormonal changes affecting my mental health. Lesson number 8 is don't ignore your mental health. Don't hesitate to seek professional help if you're feeling overwhelmed. I know that talking about mental health in these parts, is taboo, but you really need to take control, and take responsibility for your mental health. Otherwise, nobody will do it for you. Lesson number 9. I started noticing some stubborn weight gain around my midsection. This had never happened before. I was still exercising, and eating healthy, yet nothing worked. I felt betrayed by my own body. After discussing this with my instructors at menopause school, I learned that hormonal changes lead to different fat distribution, and the fat around my abs was caused by an increase in my stress hormone cortisol. So I changed my diet and made it as close as possible to a Mediterranean diet. I changed my exercise program so that I did more strength training, flexibility, and balance exercises, and less cardio exercises. Then I got more sleep and I reduced my stress levels intentionally, and I slowly began to get my life back. So lesson number 9 is that lifestyle adjustments are key, especially as postmenopausal women have a higher risk of developing heart disease and fragile bones. So start now, even before perimenopause, and never stop. Pay attention to your body, and find fitness routines, that work for you. Just 30 minutes a day, like 5 days a week, and consistency is so important. Lesson number 10. I remember crying, over a spilled cup of coffee. The emotional swings hit me pretty hard. On some days, my mood will be swinging wildly from tree to tree like Tarzan of the jungle. My husband used to point out to me, that I was snapping so often. My family didn't understand, and neither did I. My therapist eventually explained that these emotional swings, were linked to hormonal changes. And it was okay, to seek help. Lesson number 10 is don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's talking to a menopause coach, and I'm available for one-on-one coaching, counseling, or consultation. You could join support groups or just confiding in a trusted friend, if you have any, that is, can really save you. Lesson number 11. I used to be a champion nighttime sleeper. My husband used to say that when I go to sleep, somebody could come and steal everybody away from the house, but I would still be sleeping. But all of a sudden, I found myself awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. I now knew how long the night really was. I tried everything, herbal teas, magnesium, melatonin, you name it, until I tried prayer. Realizing that sleep issues were tied to menopause led me to establish a sleep routine. Lesson number 11 is prioritize sleep. Create a calming bedtime routine and consider using the sleep app in your phone to check your sleep patterns. If you wake up at night, don't bother to get up. Just close your eyes, and if you believe in prayer, silent prayer will get you back to sleep in no time. Lesson number 12. I noticed a sharp drop in my libido, and I felt embarrassed to talk about it. My partner and I were struggling, and I thought that it would get better on his own. After a long overdue conversation with my husband, I learned that there were options to help. I just needed so much more romance, so many more date nights, and he has really been supportive of me after understanding what I've been going through. My man deserves a gold medal. Lesson number 12. Don't neglect your sexual health. Feel free to reach out to me for counseling for you and your partner, or check YouTube University for advice on products and solutions. Lesson number 13. I watched my formerly vibrant and beautiful skin lose its glow. It seemed like overnight I had hyperpigmentation, I had skin tags, wrinkles and dryness. I looked like I was 20 years older, and it affected my self-esteem. I was always hiding behind my glasses and my sunglasses. I was wishing I was invisible. For the first time ever, I knew what people meant when they said they wish the ground would open and swallow them. After running helter-skelter, looking for solutions in the wrongest places and spending so much money on the wrongest products ever, I eventually realized that I needed to adapt my skincare routine to cater to my changing skin. Your old facial routine will become ineffective. So lesson number 13 is invest in anti-aging skincare, good quality moisturizers, and stay away from the sun. You're now going to be like a low-key vampire. Then consider serums for mature skin and drink lots of water. Hypoallergenic products, which are fragrance-free, are best for peri or postmenopausal skin. I have a new video on the best skincare tips for over 40s, which will cost you practically nothing, and it's coming really soon. Lesson number 14. I used to laugh when people used to tell me to slow down or calm down, because I was always so hyperactive, doing 8 things at once. I used to be so efficient, I had a can-do attitude until stress overwhelmed me during perimenopause. I felt like I lost control. I was always feeling so overwhelmed. Lesson number 14. Multitasking is so overrated. It's better to focus on only one thing at a time, get it done correctly, then move on to the next, rather than trying to do 10 things at once and not getting any of them right. Lesson number 15. With all the crazy symptoms I was experiencing, I unconsciously found comfort in sweet treats. I didn't realize that my diet could influence my symptoms and make them more severe. Once I began to prep food at home, focusing on balanced diets, my energy levels and my mood started improving. I am now the queen of meal prep. Lesson number 15 is prioritize healthy food choices. Pre-plan, pre-pack your food, prioritize whole foods, antioxidants and omega-3. Eat as close as possible to Mediterranean style diet, as you can, which is eating lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and moderate amounts of fish and poultry, while limiting red meat and processed foods. Believe me, your body will thank you. Lesson number 16. Because I was so forgetful, I overlooked regular doctor's visits until a routine health screening revealed a breast lump. I learned that regular checkups are essential for monitoring changes related to menopause. So even though I don't have a menstrual cycle anymore, I'm careful to ensure that I do my monthly breast exams I set an alarm and then I check and I make sure I get my mammograms and all other checks on at the right time. So lesson number 16 is don't neglect your annual checkups. They can catch issues before they become problems. Lesson number 17, I faced unexpected waves of anger that took me and my friends by surprise. You know me, that I used to be so patient and so calm, the peacemaker. Now wow, I felt guilty for those flare-ups, especially once when I had an episode after a random person had annoyed me and my children called me out. They said, "Mommy, that wasn't so nice." I apologized. I was remorseful. You have to lead by example. This emotion was a normal part of my hormonal change. Embracing it, understanding it, and learning to moderate it made a big difference. Lesson number 18. Before perimenopause, I was the queen of planning. I planned everything about my life down to the most minute detail. So I thought I could control every aspect of menopause with planning. But life had other plans. Initially, I would have had a meltdown when things didn't go according to my plan. Learning to adapt was necessary when things didn't go according to my schedule. Right now, I accept things that I cannot control. Lesson number 18 is stay flexible. Planning isn't everything. Adapt your plans as your needs change. It's all part of the journey. Lesson number 19. I was so focused on everyone else that I neglected myself. I always put myself last. It resulted in burnout and resentment about how all my efforts weren't being appreciated. Realizing that self-care isn't selfish made me reclaim my time. My mother taught me that being well rested is an important part of self-care, and at the same time it makes you be at your best for everything and everyone. And when I have a speaking event, maybe on menopause or health or fitness, or when I'm trying to record a video, I've learned to spend the little time I have left on getting a good night's sleep rather than staying up all night to finish my script or my presentation, because I will always perform better after resting well. Lesson number 19, self-care is self-love. Schedule regular me time for activities that recharge you. It could be reading, gardening, or anything that brings you joy. Lesson number 20, instead of dreading menopause, I began to finally view it as a rite of passage. It's a new chapter after all. I started celebrating small wins, from conquering hot flashes to embracing my new self. I celebrated the day I became menopausal, which was 1 year after my last menstrual cycle. And now I celebrate every day in postmenopause, especially because I got my life back. Lesson number 20, celebrate your journey. Change your mindset regarding menopause. Celebrate the wisdom you gain on the way. Most importantly, girl, remember you're not in this journey alone. Watch this video to see how crazy my perimenopausal experience was. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself. Be your sister's keeper.